Hidden inside the human body is an entire biological system that most people have never even heard of. A system connected to mood, pain, appetite, memory, sleep, inflammation, immune function, and even stress response. And the strange part? Scientists only discovered this system because they were trying to understand how cannabis affects the human body. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating medical discoveries of the modern era, the endocannabinoid system. To understand the endocannabinoid system, we first have to go back to the 1960s. In 1964, Israeli scientist Raphael Mechoulam and his team successfully isolated and identified THC, the primary psychoactive compound in cannabis. At the time, scientists still didn't understand exactly how cannabis affected the body. Alcohol affects many cells broadly. Opioids bind to opioid receptors. Nicotine binds to nicotine receptors. But cannabis? Nobody knew. Researchers suspected the body must contain a specific system designed to interact with cannabinoids. And that idea would lead to one of the most important discoveries in neuroscience. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, scientists discovered the first cannabinoid receptor in the human body. It was called the CB1 receptor. Researchers found these receptors heavily concentrated throughout the brain and nervous system. Soon after, scientists discovered another receptor, the CB2 receptor, which was more associated with the immune system and inflammation regulation. But this discovery created a huge question. Why would humans naturally possess receptors specifically designed to interact with cannabinoids? Surely the body didn't evolve around a plant. The answer came in 1992. Scientists discovered that the human body actually produces its own cannabis-like compounds naturally. These compounds became known as endocannabinoids. Endo meaning within. One of the first endocannabinoids discovered was named anandamide. Its name came from the Sanskrit word ananda, meaning bliss. Anandamide is often nicknamed the bliss molecule. This discovery confirms something incredible. Humans have an entire internal regulatory system specifically built around cannabinoid signaling. What's even more fascinating is this. The endocannabinoid system is believed to be over 600 million years old. Scientists have identified endocannabinoid-like systems across countless species throughout evolution, long before humans existed, long before cannabis plants evolved into what we recognize today. Which means the cannabis plant did not create this system. Instead, cannabis evolved compounds that happen to interact with a biological system already deeply embedded in animal life. In a way, cannabis hijacks a communication system that nature had already built into the body. Today, scientists believe the endocannabinoid system plays a major role in maintaining something called homeostasis. Homeostasis simply means balance. Your body is constantly trying to maintain equilibrium. Not too much inflammation, not too little. Not too much stress, not too little appetite. Stable sleep, stable mood, stable nervous system signaling. The endocannabinoid system helps regulate all of this. Endocannabinoids act like messengers. They bind to cannabinoid receptors throughout the body and essentially tell systems when to calm down, speed up, or stabilize. This is why cannabis can affect such a wide variety of symptoms. It isn't targeting just one pathway. It's interacting with one of the body's master regulatory systems. Some researchers now believe that certain chronic conditions may involve something called clinical endocannabinoid deficiency. The theory suggests some people may naturally produce lower levels of endocannabinoids or have dysregulated cannabinoid signaling. Researchers have explored this possibility in conditions such as migraines, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, chronic pain disorders, and certain mood-related conditions. While research is still ongoing, some patients report symptom improvements when cannabinoids from cannabis are introduced into the system. THC and CBD can interact with cannabinoid receptors and potentially help compensate for signaling imbalances. Though it's important to understand, cannabis is not a cure-all. Responses vary significantly between individuals, dosing, cannabinoid ratios, terpene profiles, and overall health conditions. Over the years, cannabis and cannabinoid-based therapies have shown evidence of helping symptoms associated with several medical conditions. One of the most well-known examples is epilepsy. Certain CBD-based medications have been FDA approved for rare seizure disorders after significant reductions in seizure frequency were observed in clinical trials. Cannabis has also been studied extensively for chronic pain management. Some patients report reduced reliance on opioid medications when cannabinoids are incorporated into treatment strategies. Other areas of ongoing research include multiple sclerosis-related spasticity, chemotherapy-induced nausea, appetite stimulation, PTSD symptoms, sleep disorders, and inflammatory conditions. However, researchers continue to stress the need for larger, long-term clinical studies as legalization expands. The endocannabinoid system may be one of the most important biological systems most people have never heard of. A system discovered through cannabis research, yet deeply rooted throughout human biology and evolution itself. And while science is still uncovering exactly how this system works, one thing is clear. Cannabis didn't create the endocannabinoid system. Nature had already written it into us hundreds of millions of years ago. If you enjoyed this breakdown on cannabis science, neuroscience, and the future of cannabinoid research, subscribe to Cannabis for America and follow the Cannabis Informer for more educational content every week.